Hello again, Broncos country.
Really excited to chop up some Broncos with you all this week.
Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS.
Favorite time of the week. We're not for the Raiders, Chargers, or Chiefs. So grab your brews in your fantasy league. We got that blue and orange blood that you bleed. The most loyal fans there ever could be. We are that mile high Broncos country.
Orange Weekly, fans, brews, and Broncos news. What's up, Broncos country? How you doing? Welcome to the Week 1 matchup. It is finally here. We are ready for some Broncos football. Matt, David, and John, we're all here to kind of talk to you about what you got on your mind as we get ready to play the Giants. It's going to be some good stuff. So post your comments, post your questions. I'm drafting for myself and another friend as we speak. So I'm going to be kind of not totally vested in everything you're saying, but
you're fucking up 2 leagues then. Is what you're saying.
Pretty much. Hey, I won this last league last year.
No,
Okay,
you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Beat you.
No, the other league that I'm drafting for right now.
None of us are there, Kev. So
it doesn't matter.
Count,
Thank you, Matt. Thank you.
Okay, well, you guys post your comments, post your questions. But Matt, since you haven't been on the show for a while, glad to see your bald face, man.
Oh, thanks, buddy. I'm happy to be here.
Bald head.
It's nice
Good
to see all y'all.
And I'm guessing you changed my team name on me?
Yes.
Yes. Well, I updated it since then. So
to
you
just
can,
hairy butt, like
no, I love Jared's hairy butt. So
oh, Jesus.
Yes, this is what you get.
Worse than what I put, man.
Okay, everyone.
I said you're just complimenting Jared now,
right?
Yeah.
And I love complimenting that guy.
I don't think he's got a hairy butt, man. That guy's pretty sleek.
Okay, well, Matt, why don't you take it away? What are some of the things that you hear going around in the league, or what you got on your mind?
Just in general, or
yeah, man, whatever you got.
I don't know, man. I made a pretty good chicken salad tonight. Pretty happy with it, Otherwise,
is this how this show's gonna go?
So, yeah. No, man. Around the league, like, I think this year is gonna be pretty exciting. There's a full off season. Players were able to, work out all year, and honestly, we haven't seen that many injuries. There have been some. Notably J.K. Dobbins with the Ravens out for a year, which is pretty unfortunate.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like, people seem to be healthy. Teams seem to be, shaping up really well. Broncos have yet another new quarterback. A new offensive sort of identity, we can say. Javonte Williams is a player that I'm very excited to watch this year. I think he'll turn into our number one back pretty shortly. I don't know. I think there's just a lot of really exciting stuff happening. I saw posted 15 teams are starting a new quarterback this year, which is,
isn't that crazy?
Broncos are one of them, right? But which is, the trend for us. But at the end of the day, like, I think there's just a lot of exciting things happening. So that's all I got to say.
Yeah. Well, you said a lot without managing to say anything at all. So good job.
That's what I get paid for, man.
Really? Yeah. That's why
I'll talk a lot and I won't say anything. It's all good.
That's why Matt makes the big bucks. What's up, Rob? Good to see you. Thanks for coming by. Let's see. What do you guys think is the biggest news heading into Giants week? We've got Noah Fant and Bradley Chubb coming back from injury, but you've also got some questions about Chubb's availability pending a legal matter, a small legal matter. It doesn't sound like it's anything real serious, more along the lines of just something he forgot to do. And he needs to do as far as keeping up with his court dates. But still, something that not something you wanted to hear going into the first game of the season, but something that the Broncos are now dealing with. So, what do you guys think about that, Bradley Chubb's day?
It's not a great day for Bradley Chubb, but I think we'll see what happens there.
I think it's definitely unfortunate it's coming out now, but I mean, hey, it's real life, man. He's got to deal with it. It is what it is.
I don't think it's going to be an issue long term.
No. And I don't think looking short term with the Giants, I don't think it's going to be an issue against the Giants. Giants offensive line isn't that stout, isn't that great, overall. Von Miller's back, so that's pretty nice. A lot less pressure on Bradley Chubb. And, with our secondary going up against Daniel Jones, we may not really notice that he's not, he's missing for this week if he does miss. But at the end of the day, man, I wish him well. I hope things go well on his side in the legal dispute.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it'll be fine. But the biggest news, I think, is going to be Saquon Barkley. Is he playing? Is he not?
I think he's lining up to play.
I think he is.
Yeah. It sounds like they are putting him on track to play. It also sounds like he's probably going to be on a pitch count of some kind. ACL tear, first game back. I wouldn't assume that they want to feed him the ball 20 to 25 times against. You don't know what defenses are going into this portion of the season, but you think the Broncos defense is going to be formidable. You wouldn't think they want to expose him to too much unnecessary risk as they ease him back in, but maybe. I think we're definitely going to see him.
I think so. It might be a limited sort of situation, but again, I don't know. I have so much faith in the Broncos defense this year. I don't, Saquon Barkley or not, man. I don't care. I don't care who's lining up against this defense. It's, we'll stop them. Yeah.
The other thing to note would be Devontae Booker. He did beat us with the Raiders last year. He played very well, so I think he holds a grudge against the Denver Broncos. So we'll see. And it might be me that's causing the playback. That's
what we got on the comment side here. Everyone who's joining, appreciate you doing that. Hit that share button really quickly. So after this show, we are going to be doing our own fantasy football draft live on YouTube. So make sure you go over to YouTube, search for Broncos Orange Weekly. We're going to be live while we draft, so you can just chill with us and watch John make some terrible decisions.
Yep.
As Matt and I go back and forth trying to reclaim the title there. So I'm going to get you back for.
By the way, the draft room is open, so go check if you want. I have the second overall pick, so
yeah. And you gave me the what? This is the second to last pick, third to last pick in the
third to last. I don't set it, man. It's a random order.
I think you said it because that means in all three of my drafts, I've had a bottom three pick. So
they just wanted to make sure you could reach it. From whatever shelf it was on, yeah, they wanted to make sure you could reach your pick.
I hate you all.
Right.
Nice.
I hate you all.
Nice. But Jared has the first overall pick. So as we were making fun of what happens if Jared has the first overall pick, Jared has the first overall pick.
Oh, God.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. And he may be auto drafting, so that's great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he'll take Christian McCaffrey first, and then
at least that's a no-brainer. I'm just excited to be number 3.
Number 6. Yeah. So I'm excited too, but not as excited as if I was like 1 or 2. We'll just have to see.
We'll just have to see.
Yeah, but yeah, we will put up a link to make sure you guys can find that. You'll be able to watch us live. It's a little bit more of an after show than what we do at Orange Weekly. It's going to be a little bit ridiculous, a little bit goofy. Yeah. We're gonna have a nice time.
Yes, we will. There won't be any alcohol involved because we aren't all about that.
No, we're sober.
Yeah,
super sober.
Yeah. I just brought a lot of cocaine. I hope that's.
Oh, that's fun.
Is that the Canadian form of drinking?
Yes.
No, we drink here. Don't worry.
You put your cocaine into the drink.
Smart. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
The snow we put on everything. You know what I mean?
Year round, right?
Year round,
Yeah.
man. It's like that Christmas snow, the Tegrity Christmas snow.
Oh man, what else we have to talk about?
Well,
I feel like this is like we had a week off. We had nothing in between last show. What are we going to talk about?
I mean, so let's get, a little bit into, everybody wants to talk a little bit about, Teddy Bridgewater and how we think the offense is going to do. We've got one prediction from Mike, 250 yards and 2 TDs, with 2 touchdowns from Gordon as well. So it sounds like the Broncos faithful out there are predicting we have some success against this Giants defense. What about you guys? Do you think there's any real formidable names on this Giants defense, or do you think that the Broncos are going to be able to kind of do what they want?
No,
Martinez is a player that he's a bit underrated. I think last year he had quite a formidable year coming from the Packers. But, Leonard Williams as well, pretty good. Outside of that, I don't know. It's the defense was 9th overall in points, 12th in yards last year. So good unit, but not a scary one.
No. I think very few things about the Giants scares any team besides Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, as it should be.
Besides having to play for the Giants.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they are definitely an underrated defense, I would say, because the rest of the team is just so bad. But
their offense has gotten a good boost though with Kenny Golladay as receiver. But I mean, Daniel Jones is such a, I think wank is the appropriate term, technical term, if I remember correctly. So
we're in America, Matt, not England.
Well, Matt's in Canada, so he's kind of in England, America.
The word flaky, unpredictable, puppets. Nice.
And you never know. Daniel Jones, he could have a breakout year, right? He's kind of in the same position Drew Lock would have been in. I don't think it's going to happen, but you never know.
And not in a week 1 setting. I don't expect him to go out there and light it up. You're going to see normal week 1 mistakes, drops, misreads, miscommunication. I think what it's going to come down to is the strength of the defense, and that's where we got a huge upper hand. So while our offense is probably going to still see some of those same struggles, I think especially if our defense can, get a pick 6 or something huge like that, I think that's going to be,
good.
Huge for us in terms of looking to get a win out of week 1.
Okay. I like your prediction, Kevin. Who's getting the pick 6?
Ooh, I would love to see PS2 get it, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 1. I would love to see that.
CB number 4 getting the pick 6. That'd be legit.
Listen, he's going to see playing time.
For sure.
And he's going to probably be pasted all over Evan Ingram all night.
Yeah.
But they're going to get chances. I think the entire secondary is going to get chances because you've got Sterling Shepard at one wideout, Kenny Golladay at the other, and it's Daniel Jones who is more prone to fumbling than I think every other quarterback in the league. It's really, I think, going to be. A good test of where this defense is early, a good litmus test, because if they're the defense that we all think they should be, it's going to show up right away. They're going to have opportunities to get past this offensive line. They're going to have opportunities to pressure the quarterback. They're going to have opportunities to get balls in the air, bat balls in the air, make plays on footballs and make interceptions. It's just, if they're not able to do it, what do you guys think? I don't want to be the pessimist. I've been optimistic all offseason. But do you guys think that if we don't see a real big-time performance from this defense, they're in trouble?
Hard to say early on, right?
Yeah, sure. You want to see the context of it, I guess.
But to your point, Evan Ingram's out this week. So we're going to have to deal with Kyle Rudolph at the tight end position. I know Broncos have been – let me not break news here. I don't know if he's out, but they're saying he's a long shot to play this week. So more than likely, probably not going to play. While they think Saquon is going to play. So that's we have been historically bad against tight ends. We think PS2 might be the guy that's going to take care of that problem. But I think it's going to be less of an issue this week with Ingram out because he is one of their playmakers on offense. So I really don't see a scenario where this defense does terrible this week. I'm very optimistic about this game.
Fair enough.
I think it's going to be a great one for the defense. And considering that Patrick Surtain's our number 3 corner right now.
I think Callahan's still above him.
Right. So yeah. So
And Darby and Fuller above him as
so
well.
Fuller, Callahan, Darby, and then Patrick Surtain. Patrick Surtain would be the number one corner on the Giants. Like,
oh yeah, without a yeah.
I think the floor for our defense is still so high that even if they have a bad game, it's a pretty great defensive game. You know what I mean? If we allow 21 points, it's like, ooh, that's maybe a little bit much for us, but like still pretty damn good. So, you know, I don't know. I feel like we could do a pretty good job even on a mediocre day. And I mean, if they don't have Saquon Barkley in there,
that's huge.
I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He has been their entire offense in the past. Now they do have playmakers at wide receiver, but our cornerbacks are good enough to shut down their wide receivers.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like, let's compare it to last year a bit. Week 1 last year was against the Raiders. And, you know, I felt like there's a bit of worry walking into the Raiders week 1. You know, it was a bit stressful. But this year against the Giants, I feel there's a lot of confidence on the Broncos side. Like, yeah, we had a lot of injuries and it was a very wacky offseason. But this year with Teddy at quarterback, it's kind of like, I don't know. I have faith that the offense isn't going to be the reason we lose.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like Locke would lose us some games, whereas Teddy probably won't. He may not be that dynamic playmaker who will win us games, but he sure as heck won't lose them with stupid mistakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's all that Fangio wants. You know, he wants a safe quarterback. We're going to win it based on our defense, our ground game, and, you know, 1 or 2 big plays from our receivers, which is a bummer because we have a lot of playmakers. I hope it proves me wrong and they're just going to throw those short passes and they're going to take it 90 yards every time, which is possible with like 4 of our playmakers on offense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they went with the safe option with Teddy.
This would be the best team Teddy's been on as well in terms
of
easily. Corbin Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Noah Fant, like this is a lot of talent, and Teddy has a lot of experience, man. I think I don't know, I have a lot of faith in him. I'm really happy he won the job. I think he's the best quarterback the Broncos have had since Peyton Manning. You know, let's be honest. Like, I mean,
don't forget about Joe Flacco.
I forgot about Joe Flacco. Yeah, Flacco is pretty amazing. Yeah. Okay, so second best quarterback we've had since Peyton Manning. You know, I honestly think that this is a very tough division. If we didn't have Mahomes and Herbert in this division, I think that Broncos could easily be division winning team. So I think it's gonna be very competitive this year. But like, I don't know. I feel there's a different energy this year than there was last year. Like there's confidence. There's, optimism. I feel like, especially walking into week 1. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I think we had a lot of optimism going to the last season, and then injuries just took us out so quickly. And they were like our veteran leaders that, you know, we had such a young team. We still have such a young team.
Yeah.
That
the soul sucked out of us.
Yeah. It took the wind out of sails so early on last year. And no surprise we went 0-4 in September last year. So we're going to turn that around this year. I have no doubt about that.
And it's really not, it's been every year of the Fangio tenure. There's just been injury questions. It's been, if it wasn't last year, Von Miller, I remember his first year, both of our inside linebackers got injured like 2 weeks before training camp. And you had to kind of watch him scramble and make do with less. And so now, we finally got the defensive mind with enough to play with. What we've got a question here from Shadowjacker. Do we think that the Broncos can hold the Giants to no touchdowns? I definitely think so. There's an ideal world where the Giants don't see the Broncos side of the field, and that could easily happen. I don't necessarily expect them to be that good, that sharp, that early. But the pass rush rotation is deeper than we thought it was going to be. We thought maybe there was a question there. But Jonathan Cooper and Andre Mintz, along with Malik Reed, I think you've gotten an embarrassment of riches there. Yeah. You've got whatever Draymond Jones is going to bring this season, and I think everybody thinks it's going to be quite a lot. It's just pieces everywhere. Up front, behind, I do think the Broncos could hold the Giants to no touchdowns. I don't think they will, but it's probably going to be. Yeah. I mean, wait for the pregame podcast. But my score prediction for New York will be low.
Dude, this secondary is just like. I don't want to be inappropriate because we're a very clean.
Oh yeah, we're yeah, exactly. We're a G-rated show.
but I've got a wicked boner looking at this fucking defense. Like,
Whoa!
I told you.
Triggered. I'm triggered.
All right. But
I'm
secondary,
triggered.
man, when's the last time we saw a secondary that was just so like robust, man? Like, not only as the players on the field, but the coach behind them as well. Like Fangio is one of the, generational type of coach in terms of his defense. And we've got like these studs across the board in the secondary. And like, we haven't talked about Simmons yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, who's the free safety, a strong safety? It's Kareem Jackson, right?
Yeah.
Like he's lining up strong. And he might be the weakest part of our defense.
Well, and then you look at our backups, the second and third stringers. I mean, we have depth. A lot of players that got that playing time last year because we were so injured. How many teams out there have such a experienced depth of, and we have Bassie and somebody else out on the PUP list. They're not going to come back until like week 6 or 7,
Dawson,
Dawson.
Right? Mm-hmm.
So, we have players out still, that are going to be, starting second stringers, once they come back. So
I really can't wait, man. Like the secondary, I think the modern defense is built from the back down. Like it used to be like you build the front, the front seven first, and then the secondary can wait. But like now you build the secondary first, and like coming up against Herbert and Mahomes this year, like I don't know, man. They better be worried because like I'm saying, like I'm not just saying this because like I'm a fan of this team, but like this secondary is unreal.
It is
talent across the board. Like I just can't believe it. We can just run 2 linebackers all game. It won't matter. Like Darby's a great nickel, man. Fuller hits like a truck. Surtain is going to be on and off the field depending on, you know what I mean? He's the backup corner.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could very well see the Giants not scoring a touchdown week 1. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen, but I could absolutely see it. Like
I wouldn't be surprised if PS2 is on the field for 75% of the plays. As our number 4 cornerback.
You could just run 4 corners all game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fangio is going to use the right guys, and he's going to rotate, and he's going to find the combination that's going to work play after play.
I think this is the year where he cements himself as a head coach. I hope. Like he makes shit the bed.
Well,
you know what I mean?
This is it. Either
he's
done or he has bought himself another 2 to 3 years.
This is his chance. It's going to
be a year to year after this. It's either I've seen enough that we want to keep you another 2 to 3 years, or you're out. It's not going to be that was good enough for 1 more year. George Payton is going to look at this and say, we're either going in a different direction and committing to that, or we're sticking with this direction. And that's period what it is. Hey, really quickly for everybody who's watching, hit that share button for me. Glad you're all here. Obviously really big excitement as we get close to week 1. First game of obviously is Thursday night, and then Broncos play Sunday afternoon, 2:15 p.m. Mountain Time. Again, hit that share button because Facebook's been messing with us. The algorithm is not getting the video out as much. So if you hit that, that'll help us out a lot. And then right after this show at 8 p.m. Mountain Time, we're going to be over on YouTube only, streaming while we do our fantasy draft.
And
OnlyFans. And OnlyFans, yes.
OnlyFans, Just kidding. Don't go on OnlyFans looking for us.
Why not?
You'll only be disappointed. Actually,
it's there.
Because I haven't done that search myself. I don't know what's going to pop up.
What do you think is going to pop up? Me and Jared topless.
Something's going to pop up on OnlyFans.
And, okay. What's wrong with that? We heard the request from the fans. They wanted us to do an OnlyFans, and so we gave it to them.
We'd have to pay OnlyFans money. Refund. If that's the kicker, it's Jared and you shirtless. Like, no.
Yes. So anyway, I think David just posted it right there for you. That's the link for where we're going to be live right after here. Come hang out with us. Like I said, we're just going to be smoking and joking and drinking and whatever on a Tuesday night as we draft. So, okay. So we're talking about, and this thing just keeps cycling because, again, we don't really know what it's going to look like until the season starts. But one area that I know I am especially worried about, and I know a lot of other people are, is special teams. And we've talked about it ad nauseum now. I get it. But it keeps coming back to the root of the problem of the coaching staff that was, that's still in place. McMahon is still there. And we had you're talking about areas that lost us games last year, that was definitely one of them where they lost us probably 1, 2, maybe even 3 games last year.
One of the worst special teams in the league last year.
So what do you think
wasn't
about that
close.
as we go into
Sure,
this?
not close.
Could literally only get better from last year. Like, even if we're the worst special teams in the league this year again, it'll probably be better than last year. And like, I hope it's gonna. Did we get a new special teams coach though?
No.
No,
No. Okay,
That's the
same
thing.
guy.
That's the thing. We
that's
kept
what we've been talking about. Yeah.
I don't know. You know what I
and-
think here- Go ahead, John.
I was just gonna say, I mean, special teams is so crucial too in those close games. And how many games did we lose by less than 7 points last year? And that, I mean, that's gonna be make or break. That's gonna be the one area that is gonna be special teams. Hopefully,
One thing- Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
sorry,
Say
I
what
go
I
on my
said.
rants here, Matt. Come on. No, I'm just saying with our schedule, hopefully we're not in those close games as much this year. But I mean, it'd be nice to shore up that special team so we don't have to worry about it as much.
Well, and you just hope that it's not going to be the kind of thing that keeps you out of a playoff game this year. You know, last year it was what it was. The offense wasn't good enough to pull you anywhere, even if the special teams was pulling its weight. But if the offense is what we want it to be this year, and this team is losing one-score games because we can't stop a punt returner before he gets to his own 40-yard line, it's just not going to work. There's, you know, almost no chance you see a mid-season special teams coordinator change unless they are patently abysmal. And, you know, this is the one of the areas where you may see some change motivated from the other coaches trying to keep their jobs.
Yeah.
You know, if the special teams is embarrassing the rest of the team on a weekly basis, Fangio is going to do what he has to do in order to save his own job. He's not going to be thinking about Tom McMahon and himself as a package deal there.
Yeah. And here's something that I feel like we haven't really talked about, but should be mentioned. Like, special teams is made up of backup players usually, you know, players who don't play on offense and defense regularly make up the special teams. And last year, how often did we cycle through players? How often did we have to bring new guys in from week to week and promote guys from, you know, the practice squad and like get them to catch up on offense and defense? And, you know, they barely had time to get coached up on special teams. So I'm sure we had a special team unit that was just ragtag, you know, like backyard football. Figure out, you know, as we go. So I think this year having consistency, it's going to help the unit overall.
Right.
You know, knowing the blocking assignments, knowing where to line up and what to do and getting creative. So I think honestly it can only get better from last year, and hopefully it, you know, it sticks true. Right? I'd love to see them really improve, but
I mean, it can't really get worse.
no,
Yeah.
it can't. I mean,
It can, but not by much. And look, I'm not saying that we need to have the number 1 overall special teams, right? 20, you know, having the 20th ranked special teams alone would have won us, at least given us a much better chance to win at least a couple of those games. And now you're talking instead of going 5-11, you know, you're getting that 7-win, 7-9 kind of situation, which is better, not, you know, great, but better. Gives yourself a better feeling going into the season. But man, you know, when you're looking in the preseason, and the preseason is what it is, you know, people just trying to make the team, and a lot of people selling insurance now because they couldn't cut it. Not to say that they weren't trying, but when they're giving up 30, 40-yard returns, you know, it makes me sit there and say, this looks all too familiar, you know, like, is this going to be a sign of what we're going to see this year? So,
And they're selling what now?
insurance.
Mm.
We're not doing that. Yeah.
Ah,
but I did.
Oh, I thought that was gonna be
I was
another
even
great-
thinking that.
I thought that
man.
would have been
Now that would have
I was
been
about to take a 2-minute break.
Tie
Right.
That
Yeah.
really would've.
that
But
would have been it.
uh,
oh
there,
well.
there is an announcement. Once Jared is back, we do have an announcement for a different sponsor, if you will, something that Orange Weekly is doing. So stand by for that. There will be more, you know, lead-ins and whatnot, transitions that I'll have for you guys, but just not this week.
I think one last note on the special teams, like they know that's an issue, right? They drafted it. They made it a priority in the draft. They wanted quick guys. They wanted guys that could play special teams. And then in the preseason, they still weren't happy with it, and they traded for a guy to shore up that special team. So they get it. They know that it is been a problem area. So don't think that it's going past anybody's head in the organization.
No, for sure. Yes, I did totally mess up that segue. It would have been a great segue, but there is
That
no
would have been really good, actually.
Absolutely. Looking forward a little bit, Esteban wants to know if we think the Broncos can beat the Steelers. We'll get there as it stands. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm not intimidated by the Steelers' offense anymore.
Very similar teams, Broncos and Steelers, like very stout defenses. They're led by TJ Watt. We're led by Von Miller. Great coaching, offense. I think Roethlisberger, where he's not now in his career, in Bridgewater's probably a bit better, but I think that's one of those games where we might finish 17-14, 16-13, some ridiculous.
But I think that's going to be a lot of games.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully not with our schedule this year, Kevin.
I don't think you can
not early on. But
I don't think that's a reliable way to win. I don't, not anymore. Even against bad teams, even against the Jets and the Jaguars and the Giants of the league, I don't know that it can be that league anymore. Even since 2015, I think that the 16-13 games are now 24-20 games. And it's just you've got to add another touchdown in there somewhere if you want to have a chance to compete at any point during the season.
Right. I think I'm underplaying the what I'm expecting from the offense. I just been hurt too many times, in the past that I don't want to get excited about this. But honestly, I think any team on our schedule is beatable. That includes the Chiefs. Yeah. We need some things to go, in our favor in those kinds of big games. But I'm not looking at this saying that there's no way that we could, have not only a winning season, but get in a playoff spot. But it's going to mean that, one, knock on wood, we stay healthy, and two, that things like special teams and whatnot really come together and keep us in the game. Our defense can only do so much, and I fully expect they're going to do what they do. It's going to be awesome to watch them do it, but can we minimize the turnovers? Can we stay healthy? Can we really force the other team into bad positions, within their 10 or 5 yard line that allows our defense to make some of those plays that puts points up on the board for us? So it'll be interesting, but I think starting with this schedule, should hopefully give us some good confidence moving forward. You got 3 wins in the preseason for what it is. Didn't give up a single touchdown, again, for what it is. But now you're going into the regular season. Wins, really just motivate you. And if you can get 2-1, 3-1 in those first 3 games, it's not to say that, hey, now they're invincible, but okay, we've worked out a lot of kinks. We're going into game 4 against Baltimore. But that's in Denver, I
will be there.
I'll be there too. So, it's like, let's show that we're not just a team that can beat crappy teams. Right. Let's go out there and let's, get a win against Baltimore and show who we are.
I think Broncos are exactly that. Like we're now in the upper tier of teams. I think Teddy brings that stability that we can say, yeah, we'll push for a playoff spot. Like if we don't get a wild card spot, I'll be shocked. Absolutely shocked. If the Broncos aren't one of the top 7 teams in the division, in the conference, barring injuries or some ridiculous stuff happening, but like healthy, full functioning team, we should get that first wild card spot for sure.
Yeah. You're talking about basically almost half of the conference makes the playoffs. Are you telling me we're not in the top half of the conference? I think we are.
Let's look at how deep the AFC is.
Yes, I think we're in the harder conference.
Sure. We can run it down. Let's run through it real quick. You've got AFC East, the Bills, obviously one of the elite teams in the NFL. You've got the Chiefs, one of the elite teams in the NFL. The whole AFC North, except for the Bengals, figures to just be tough. It's 3 team, and I don't know where the hierarchy is going to shake out. If I had to guess, this year it would be Ravens, Browns, Steelers in that order. You could
Browns, I think, will win the division.
I mean, you could swap those top two pretty easily.
I never have faith in Cleveland. They always find a way to blow it.
I get it.
This is
but
a new Cleveland team.
I understand. I really like their team.
They have the number one offensive line in the league, by a margin, a wide margin. They have a coach who's not a complete failure, who doesn't look like a hillbilly redneck coming out of the freaking trailer park like Freddie Kitchens did. You know, like their defense has Jadeveon Clowney, Myles Garrett. Who's that linebacker that forget the freaking linebacker? I don't know, man. I'm just saying, don't sleep on the Browns.
I'm not sleeping on them. I'm just saying they find a way to. It's like the Raiders, right? The Raiders have had years where they had great rosters, and they still find a way to blow it. So I do think that Cleveland has a very talented roster. Don't get me wrong, and they should be a playoff team, going forward with their youth that they have as well. But I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, you could say the same thing about the Broncos. The Broncos like to blow it also. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you, David.
No, that's all right. All this talk of blowing it, I got lost a little bit in.
It's not OnlyFans.
Yeah. It's anyway. So you've got. I mean, the AFC South is a little bit of a walkover. You've got the Colts there, and
he doesn't know what that is either.
Yeah. But you've got the Colts and not a lot else there.
The Titans,
maybe Tennessee. Yeah, I suppose.
Titans are a playoff team for sure.
They are. And they're going to be in the mix. I'm still never quite convinced by the Titans. Even watching them.
Your Titans are my Cleveland, then.
I guess. Yeah. Maybe because even watching them beat the Ravens in the playoffs and win in the playoffs, it's like, but Ryan Tannehill's the quarterback.
Yeah,
he's the top 10 quarterback.
I cannot wrap my head around. Ryan Tannehill is good.
Would you rather have Ryan Tannehill or Teddy Bridgewater, man?
I don't know how to answer that question, man.
I know how I should.
I know how to answer it.
I know how I should answer that.
But they have Julio Jones now.
They
I'm
do.
a Julio Jones fan myself.
Yeah, understandably.
Kevin, you know exactly who Julio Jones was. Remember the Falcons played the Broncos last year? Do you want to talk about that? No, exactly. Yeah, that's right.
Wait, Matt. Right. Is this? Wait, am I on the Falcons?
You're about to be. If Kevin pulls that shit again, you're about to be. But I'm with you, David. I think that Tennessee is just like their defense. I find there's some gaps, and I don't know. I
think they're bad. I think they're going to be bad on defense this year. And I'm never once bought into the Mike Vrabel experience at head coach, where Mike Vrabel is your defensive head coach, and you just churn out these bottom 20 defenses every single year, and it's just fine. I don't know. I understand we have our own problems at head coach, but man, we put out a good defensive product.
Yeah, it's almost the opposite, right? I mean, Mike Vrabel has been a very good head coach from a defensive mindset, whereas you could argue that Vic Fangio has been a very good defensive coach for us. But head coach wise, I mean, we've talked about in the past, like his decisions, especially with the timeout usage, the challenge usage.
Sure.
Does he fit in the defensive coordinator category as opposed to the head coach? But I think it's going to turn around this year. I'm not saying he is stuck in the defensive way, and that's the only thing he can do. I freaking hope. All I can say is I hope that they have someone in the booth that is making these challenge decisions.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Because that's atrocious.
Rounding out this digression, you've got the Browns, the Bills, the Steelers, the Ravens. You've got the Chiefs. You've got the Titans, and then you've got to put the Broncos in somewhere, right? Because I think, those are the teams, and you could put us, I think, maybe even on the same tier as the Steelers, maybe even on the same tier as Cleveland if you squint and tilt your head really hard. But we're definitely not above, I don't think, any of those other teams right now. So you guys, I would, that puts us squarely where you guys were saying, in the 5 to 6 range in the AFC. What do you think about the challenges within our own division? I know we all like to make a punchline out of the Raiders, but that offense is capable of putting 30 to 40 points up most weeks.
Here's the thing with the Raiders, though. They've got 4 new starters on the offensive line.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's we'll have to see
their strength. Mm-hmm. I think they took their strength and they said, "Hey, we're doing too good here. Let's blow this up."
Let's blow this up.
They said we can't afford any of you, and they were old too. They were
True.
Richie Incognito and like Donald Penn. These guys were like old, but still, I don't know. I could see the Raiders offense digressing a little bit, and I think it the Broncos will play really well into that because just how good we are across the board. Like, there's a lot of speed at receiver. Darren Waller is an elite tight end. But outside of that, the defense. I mean, good Lord, how bad is that defense? Like, I don't know.
I would expect Derek Carr to be the most hit, if not one of the most hit quarterbacks by the end of the season. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
We'll see.
And that's going to, negate some of their speed, and you can have the fastest tight ends, but if you got someone like Bradley Chubb, Von Miller, Shelby Harris, crashing down in on you over and over and over and over again, you can't sit in the pocket for.
Let's look at it this way. Maybe the Raiders management said, look, we got a guy. His brother took the most sacks in the NFL. Let's see. That didn't work out at all for him. So let's see if it works out better for Arthur.
I like it.
But
and so staying in our division, there's two big what ifs with the Chargers that can turn that team from, another third or fourth place finish to, gang. And the what ifs are, what if Derwin James stays healthy all year? And what if Justin Herbert doesn't hit a sophomore slump?
Yeah. And what about their new coach who is coming over from New Orleans on the offensive side of the ball?
For the Chargers, he's coming from not New Orleans. He's coming from the Rams.
Oh
no! The head coach is coming from the Rams. The offensive coordinator is coming from New Orleans.
Oh, my
there you go.
Yes,
it cut out there for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and what they just said in an interview the other day. They intend to not come in with really any scheme in mind. They really intend to design the entire offense around Justin Herbert's strengths.
Which you kind of have to.
Right, absolutely, when you have a talent like that. So it really comes down to what that coordinator thinks those strengths are and how that actually translates onto the field as far as coaching.
Here's what I think with the Chargers. I haven't heard many people speak about, but the one defense last year to actually improve from 2019 were the Rams defense. Every other defense in the league regressed because the COVID situation, et cetera. And then, the Rams actually came out and they had the top defense in the league and they actually improved over their production last year. And the Staley guy is the one who led that. So I think that was a big reason why he was signed to the Chargers as head coach. So I think the Chargers defense is going to be very, very good this year. And they've got an amazing amount of talent from Joey Bosa to all the way back there to Derwin James, who's finally back after 2 years of injuries. So, the Chargers have the smart thing to do is to build around Justin Herbert and a cannon of an arm. You know what I mean? Like, you have to do that. But their defense, I think, is going to be sneaky good. And it's not a team we can underestimate.
Nope.
I think, new leadership, new talent, some great talent across the board. Like, it's going to be, and I just saw a comment go up, struggling against pass rushers. Teddy Bridgewater is not a mobile quarterback, not in the slightest bit. So, that pocket presence is going to be very, very important. And playing against Joey Bosa twice a year is going to be challenging. You know what I mean? So, it's going to be a challenging division this year. Other than the Raiders, I expect it to be. I think we could go 1-1 against the Chiefs, 1-1 against the Chargers.
We would need to beat the Raiders twice.
Yes,
for sure. If you want to stay in talking for a playoff spot.
Yeah.
If we're doing those things, though, if we're going 1-1 against the Chiefs and 1-1 against the Chargers, that's a win, right?
Oh yeah.
In the division,
that'd be huge for us. Yeah.
But I think basically what we're saying here is it's going to come down to the AFC West or the AFC North as to who has 3 teams in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, that's what it's looking like in this division. Yeah, in the conferences, the way the conferences are shaking out this year. I think you're absolutely right about that.
I think so.
Yeah,
it has to be.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be the AFC South.
No, I think Titans win that by a landslide.
But the Patriots and the Dolphins, I think, both have very wide ranges of outcomes for their seasons. I think both of them could easily be knocking on that wild card door. Both of them could be, double-digit loss teams this year.
I think a lot of people probably look at those two teams similar to the Broncos. Maybe people have less lower than them, but they're kind of in similar situations where they could make a real push for the playoffs.
And the biggest questions are at quarterback, I think, for all three. Is Tua going to pan out? What's Mac Jones going to do? And, of course, we know the Broncos situation. But, another similarity to your point, John, both of them have, I think, what could be considered pretty decent defenses, decent to very good. Bill Belichick and Brian Flores, both really obviously respected defensive minds. You've got Stephon Gilmore and Xavier Howard, respectively, in New England and Miami there. You've got names, and you've got the coaching to make those names more than just names. I think you're right there. It could be very easy to see them as similar to Denver.
All right, gents, I'm going to go prepare myself for the draft, if y'all know what I mean.
It is, I don't want to know what you mean. Yeah, so as we wrap up, remember,
what does that mean?
Can we touch on that real quick? And
I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot
Interesting that you used quite that phraseology, touch on that.
I don't want to know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Hey, David, if you want to put up that link again in the chat for everybody. So in about 13 minutes, we're going to be live, actually probably just before that. We're going to be live over on YouTube only. If you want to come hang out with us as we do our fantasy draft, and you can make fun of us for our picks. Mostly Jared's auto picks. Unfortunately, he won't be able to be here tonight, so hopefully that won't screw up his team too much. But you can also laugh at probably help him.
The auto draft team finished third in the league.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he'll probably win the league. Let's be honest.
Not with Matt and I in this league. He's not going to win. So.
Oh yeah, no. And my friend I added too. He's another fantasy great. So.
Okay.
I have way more faith in Matt and his friend than you, Kevin. No offense.
I got second last year. Come on.
He did get second.
Well, yeah.
The only reason I didn't win is because he had Kamara over there. And in that first game, I had to tap out. I'd be like, nope.
A blind scroll
only
finds a nut every once in a while.
That was the only reason. Anyway, everyone go check us out over there. Don't forget, starting this Sunday with the Broncos game, we'll be live about an hour before the game for the Broncos brunch. We'll be live at halftime for the halftime hash. You can make sure you check out the post off-season, what do we call it? The post preseason podcast. You got the
pre-regular season, post preseason podcast.
Yes. There's a couple podcasts coming out. We got that one. We got the pre-game podcast coming out. We're going to be bringing out articles and all that stuff. So make sure you check out all the content we have for you guys. And the link is there in the chat. Make sure you join us. We'll be there in a few minutes. But again, good talking to all of you guys. And we'll see you here in a few days for the Broncos season opener in the Giants Stadium, 2:15 Mountain Time. I'm ready for it, and let's start off with a 1-0 win. Finally getting a win in September would be the way to go. So, okay, guys, see you over there in a bit.
And,
Are we not going to finish this the way
we are?
We have to.
We are.
Come on,
we have to.
Kevin, what are you doing?
Come on, Kevin.
Go Broncos.
Go Broncos.
Go Broncos.
Take care, guys.
Do what I like, yeah, do what I like, yeah, do what I like. Sipping goose, sip is right, and I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, yeah, they know